good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. Thank you so much for tuning in. You have joined now the Unnamed Podcast, because we couldn't come up with a damn name for this thing. This is the completely unfiltered. We are politically incorrect. So if you are offended, sorry, but go out the door, because we are going to have real talk in here. My name is Eric Taylor. I am the CEO, Chief Forensic Operator at Barricade Cyber. Zach, please introduce you and your sexy self, sir.
I'm Zach, co-founder over at Sention, and really handling all of the go-to-market sales and learning all about this cyber landscape and get to talk about the shit I think I understand. Eric corrects me, and then we dive a little bit deeper further. So excited for it, and we even have an opening now compared to that last episode. So I'd say we're already making moves.
There we go. Moving on up. Dude, I tell you what, before we get into it, I have become acclimated and really loving some of the old TV shows. Like, I find myself loving to sit down and binge watch the Andy Griffith Show.
Now is this because you lost? Is this because you lost power the last time we were supposed to have an episode? You went through some nostalgia, wallpapers, posters. Like, what's going on?
Go outside, touch some grass. No, so what we were doing as any good business, we were doing disaster recovery.
Okay.
And we were getting a whole building generator put in that took entirely way too long to do. They're like, oh, we should have the power. The cutover switch should be working. I'm like, y'all have about 5 minutes, or I'm pushing you all out of the way, because I know how to do electrical.
Did you introduce redundancies to them, or how'd that conversation go?
I was trying to. Like, me and them almost had a fight, because I almost went over, because when you put a whole house or a whole building house generator, all that stuff,
yep,
and they put that transfer, the power company actually comes you and takes you off of the direct line feed. It's not just pulling the meter; they pull you off. So,
okay,
again,
well, if they pull you off, shouldn't you have power while they're working on the main, or they pull you off and go to nothing?
You're done. There is nothing, because the generator isn't tied in yet.
Yeah,
they haven't been able to pull the main disconnect down to put in the transfer switch with the disconnect. And all that horse stuff. I'm like, I'm about to go fire up my portable generator and backfeed one of my sub panels to give us lights and everything. Like, y'all are about to get out of my way.
See, these are the home ownership things I do not envy. Living in my RV, it's just a generator I can turn on and off whenever I want. It's very convenient.
You are still living in a van down by the river, aren't you?
Well, the river's going to dry up. I don't know how much water there is in Vegas, but that's the next stop coming up.
Gotcha. So, as with any good podcast, we got to say, we got to talk about AI, and AI. There, we've got 10 of them in. So we have pleased the overlords of the AI gods to make us be a productive, hopeful podcast. Let us know what you think about what we think down in the chat. With that, let's get this thing started. Zach, what do you want to talk about? Because I know I got plenty of stuff I'll trash all over today. It's been a wild 2 months since we had this call.
We've had quite a bit. I mean, saying AI so much, obviously that's a topic. And I think we hit all the GEO, AEO, because now SEO is no longer enough. That was a whole spiel there. Have you gone down that rabbit hole to learn all the new EOs, the GEO, AEO, SEO, and all that?
Kim has us on that path right now, and I am hating my life. Like, what are we doing here?
I will say I probably am one of the largest victims of GEO, AEO. Even when I go to a new city, I'm like, all right, what's the most unique bar that's niche and going to be memorable? And you know what? I do trust it, and it hasn't led me wrong. But I think once everybody starts learning how to tap into that.
All right, so let's bring this thing back for a moment.
All right.
Because this was even new to me. I didn't even know what the hell was going on.
I just learned last month.
So why don't you break it down? Because I'm still learning it. You sound a little bit more adept to it. So why don't you break it down for us and let us know what are we talking about here?
Generative engine optimization. So when all of those, just like when you Google, that's the SEO, search engine optimization. Those are the top links. GEO is now saying whenever anybody types into that search, what product do you recommend? What location do you recommend? Whatever pops up there can be manipulated. Of course, it's an AI scraping live news, live feeds, et cetera, and now there's a whole process to make sure your company comes up on that list. And there's even services that you can find exactly where you rank depending which LLM you're looking at. So this is a completely like new revenue stream for all the marketing firms, all the, edge leaders of technology. Like this is a whole industry already.
Yeah, and of course the scams are already out there. Like back in the early, y'all can see it probably. I got
early days Santa Claus.
Yeah. Back when DOS modem was the light speed of the internet because you're getting away from 56K. Like you were cruising on high speed back then. There was these programs that you could like once or twice a week submit your website to the search engines and get ranked. And this is kind of what the same thing is. So like when you're on google.com, when that search result is ChatGPT.
Yep.
So from my understanding, videos like this, YouTube Shorts, all that get ingested into Gemini.
Yep.
Or not, Gemini, ChatGPT, and that is used for the result that you get in Google. Yep. Now, is Copilot or a version of Copilot doing it for Bing?
I would assume so. I would assume so. It's part of it. I would imagine just like any other LLM, they're scraping anything they can. I know what the number one source when all this was released was Reddit, and I imagine still is, was the source of all these decision-making and human language. So yeah, I would imagine Gemini, just like everything else, is using anything it can.
Gotcha. I know Reddit still has me putting puts and calls on AMC stock, and that's gone horrible for me. So I'm not sure how well that's going to work out for me.
It worked the first time for you, though. That's why we do it a second, third time. No, that's definitely been an interesting thing to dive down. But the other thing going on in the last couple months, we talked a little bit about green employees, hiring and management, and happy to announce, like for us, we ended up hiring about, I think 9 completely green, new to the cyber industry, or even new to their role they were hired for. And we just finished our official onboarding training program and have a celebration trip over to ChannelCon in San Diego, where over half of these guys are going to their first trade show. So with that huge announcement, really excited for Sention and what we're building over there. But let's talk about team trips and culture a little bit. Have you ever done anything like that? Been on a team trip? Like, what's that dynamic when you get to a destination?
So we've tried to do that. And it's one of those things I personally got to stop being involved in it. All right, so horror story.
All right.
Anybody who's ever gone to Deadwood to go visit Black Hills Information Security's Wild Hacking Fest in South Dakota. Well, there was this, why
is it always with trade shows that you like hesitate in your language?
Dude, I'm not allowed at many trade shows. Okay, I'm just not. I got this like apartment type of thing, and this when Justin was with us. I think Joseph was still here. We had Lisa, we have Kim, and we had the team, and it was an old brothel. And I checked with everybody. Yeah, I checked with everybody. Hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing. Is anybody going to be offended by this? I just think it'd be cool. It'd be nostalgia, whatever. They had a pool tables. They had all this stuff. It turned out to be the worst shit show I've ever been a part of, dude. Like
what was on the inside of this? You say pool tables and it's modern, but was it actually modern? Give a little bit of the lay of the land.
I mean, it was still historic. Like it was still the historic part of the town. It was still, historic furniture, all that.
Yeah.
The bad part was the sheets weren't clean, and it looked like a frat party was there right before us.
Brother, that was the team.
So we had to I had to scramble, find a Verbo, Airbnb, whatever it was, a little bit out of the way. But it got to be interesting, and I'm like,
So is
I
the
don't think I need to be
takeaway
part of this decision-making process anymore.
is the takeaway not to go to South Dakota for this, or is it not to use a historical brothel landmark?
It's one of those things like, if you have girls in your team,
Yeah.
just ask them to do it, because then you know. Especially Kim, because she used to be in hospitality.
Yep.
I should. It's just, well, the lesson learned. Stay in your own lane.
Yep. Yep. I will also give one of our hires a shout out. Amy's on our team now, and she's full-time field and events. So, that's one thing to any company looking to scale, grow, kind of topics we'll get into here maybe, but she's been a little bit of a lifesaver with planning, coming from, we were able to kind of expand a little bit of what Sention does. We actually have our first virtual lunch meeting with a customer, right? So never done that before, because I didn't want to take the time to maybe Uber Eats, make sure things got there. But that's one of the cool benefits when you have someone dedicated and actually knows how to do all that stuff and plan pretty easily.
So, I mean, you got a much bigger team over there than I do. And this would be a good thing to kind of talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, being brand agnostic if we can. But I know you've worked at other companies, so have I. But
very much.
Till
they tell me I can't work there anymore. Then I got to go do something else.
And most of the time, it's in cuffs for me. But because I did something questionably illegal.
Sure, there was productivity behind the decision, but
yeah, post-mortem productivity for more security efforts. But anyway, I digress. What does Sention do differently that other companies have not done in the past that would be beneficial? And more importantly, I think, like, how long is your onboarding process? How long do you think it should be? And does that help you weed out potential bad hires that got mixed in to the organization? I know a lot of dumpster just got dumped in your driveway there, but
no, this is good. So going into this for us, so Sention, and to give the company size, I think the whole company's around 30 people at this point. But when I talk about what I did within our team and whatnot, I'm referring to operations and sales for the most part. Support's bundled in there as well. And my team is 11 in total, I believe, right now. And what that really meant, and I hinted at this at the start, I hired everyone who was green, but and this really gave me an opportunity to decide what type of mentality I want it to grow here at the company. Is it the mentality of, if I hired everyone senior, people come with their best practices, people know what to do, they step into their title and like, this is my job. The path I went was green. They step into this role and they step into this title and they're like, okay, what do I do? So that's the first very, very important thing to emphasize. Any thinking about entrepreneur, thinking about scaling your company, you need to decide if you're looking to hire people who already have an idea and best practices of their own, who they can step into a role. Otherwise, you'll do what I did, where you have to define process potentially in real time, if it's your first time doing a large scale hiring, or perfect world, do it before. So I did not hire all 11 at the same time. I hired 8 at the same time. This was my largest bunch. But what I learned it was a happy ending to this. This is a good topic. So what I learned with the first 2 hires is founder selling, founder running, founder operations is sure as hell not how an employee is able to grow and become confident in their role. So what I mean by that is, we don't realize it as founders, but we shoot from the hip a lot more than we really realize. Just because I don't know, we have the ego or the confidence to launch a company. You don't know if that's going to be successful or not. But 2, we're narrow-sighted, right? We're moving fast and we're in that moment, and we're wired, I guess, to make those split moment decisions. And I never realized it. So fast forwarding, long-winded, how long is going to depend on how much prep you do beforehand. So with those first 2 hires, boy, I was drinking through a fire hose. I was trying to set up software, set up automation, define process, and all of it on the fly. And honestly, it was probably the worst like 6, 7, 8 months of my time. Like it was hard. Like you talk about when you first go to market, those 10, 12, 15-hour days. Right when I got on the cusp, I was like, everything's flowing. Then I was like, let's hire some people. It's like, oh, never mind. Now I'm going to the 15, 16, 17-hour days because now people rely on me and I can't be paying them and they aren't generating productivity and it's not their fault. That's the most important thing. If you make the decision to hire someone like Green, you got to be ready for that. So I covered a lot there. I have the other 2 points written down I'll talk about, but did that part make sense or anything you want me to dive into?
Yeah, just for clarification for those who may not understand, when Zach says green, he's talking about brand new to the industry. They have you kind of hinted on that. I just want to make sure we drive that home. Like they have zero experience. They may have gone to some school, have some understanding of terminology, but they have 0 days sitting at a desk, right? Now, before you go into that, so this is one of the things I was actually going to go nuclear on the Unfiltered podcast that I do, the Brutally Honest podcast. The one things that I see a lot of, this may derail the rest of this.
Oh, dude, that's what this is.
Yeah. So, and this is going to be an unpopular opinion by all means. I'm sick and tired of these freaking schools that say you can come in here, you can get this, you can, get this certification, you can get this degree, and you're coming in and you're able to do stuff. One, technical understanding from a conceptual knowledge base does not equal application. Even when I was, and it's not just our field. Like I've said it many times, I used to be a master electrician. The ability you could go through apprenticeship school, you can learn the fundamentals of bending EMT conduit, right? Whether you're able to use a bender or by the time you get to 2.5 2 3/4, sometimes 3 inches, you got to use a machine because you ain't got enough ass to do it, even my chunky self. So having that knowledge,
chunky self.
Look at me.
Tell me that natural strength doesn't come with the chunkiness. It's got limits.
It does have limits. There's only so much cellulite you can form together, man. Like even Elastic Man in the Fantastic Four has a distance where he breaks down. But anyway, everybody's, I have a strong belief of all the cyber jobs that are out there that's hiring, 90% of them are complete BS. I can't put my finger on it, but I guarantee
when you say the jobs are complete BS or the prereqs are BS, what do you mean?
Both. But the job itself is a ghost job, if you will.
I don't understand actually. Like, what do you mean ghost job? Like, it's just you got to put a butt in a seat for a compliance form. Like, what do you mean?
No, I really think there's one of two things, or a combination of the both. How do I put this? So it's either the Gen X's in my generation,
sure,
are looking for the diamond in the rough. And John Strain with Black Hills, I'll go back to him. He was on Dr. Gerald Ozier's podcast like a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. And we'll say, we'll have a job opening for over a year, 2 years. We're looking for the right fit for our organization.
Sure.
And or I'm willing to put money on it that there is some sort of government kickback that you're able to obtain by having a job opening for way too long, because you can't hire people and you have degradation going to market and business impact for not being able to fill that seat. So
now, if I've learned anything from doing these episodes with you, rarely are you going to comment on things you have a high instinct or gut instinct that it's that way. There might be some truth behind it that you're not sharing here.
This one honestly is. It's a strong suspicion. I've seen some information put out about it, but the correlating data to the actual IRS and tax code that allows you to do it is unobtainable. because it's not there. So I
Yeah.
think it may be a loophole that people are leveraging. But being able, but I've heard a lot of people talk about it and reference certain tax code. And I'm
Wow.
like, I'm not the smartest guy, but that's not exactly what that means. Um, but there's, those are your influencers, and you know, I really do think the everybody wants to be in cyber or they want to be an influencer because they see literally the 1% of the people that are
Yeah, of
on
course.
and you spend 70, 80 hours and you're not able to raise like $1,000, right?
Well, if Arizona State has a viral influencer college degree now, so that 1% is going to get a little bit
That's right.
wider.
I forgot about that fucking horse shit. I forgot it. Oh my God, yes.
Sorry, did I poke something?
Dude, this is just more reason why I say college is bullshit.
So, I mean, we could go down that path, but college, the goal is to a good job with good money. I mean, arguably, a lot of good money is in this influencer space.
I'm telling you right now, if cyber doesn't work out for me, like if Barricade goes down next week, I'm literally going back to being a damn electrician.
Yep.
Because it will take me about a year to remember everything that I've done. Because, well, it's riding a bike. It takes time to acquire it. I'm older. I'm not as sharp. I'm not, some former presidents that seem to be delusional. But
some just don't sleep, it seems like. But
so it's going to take me time to get back into the swing of things, right? But I know for a fact in the Southeast there are commercial and enterprise or industrial electricians making just under $300K with the best fucking killer benefits known to man. You don't need to be. That's what I was going to talk about. You don't need to go into damn cyber. Like literally, you could spend a year in apprenticeship, about 3 years as an apprentice.
Yeah.
Become a journeyman, become electrician, and then go to become a master electrician within under 7 if you're properly motivated.
Yep.
You can go become a plumber.
Yep.
You could go do jack whatever the hell you want. Like, dude, my landscaper makes by himself.
Yeah.
Makes over $150K.
Oh yeah, the one-man shop in that industry or the trade industry is incredible. And it's funny tying it back to cyber, right? The amount of job openings, like I definitely have a fuller picture of what you're saying there. Like every Verizon report or every mainstream cyber year report says there's this many more jobs than actual people in the field. So going back to your ghost job, I mean, clicks a little bit more for me now.
Yeah. Do we have a degradation of talent in the country? Yes. Now, why is that? Plain and simple. When we were, what was it, early 2000s, roughly, give or take 10 or so years, we were shipping a lot of our call centers and our entry level to foreign countries.
Yep, of course, everything was
removing the entry level people. Now you have AI starting to replace the entry level people. So damn it, you got a person coming out of college, right? They may have a bachelor's, an associate's of freaking whatever. How are they going to get those fundamentals?
That is the question. We actually gave a presentation on this. My co-founder Henry did, and the outcome's questionable. I know, again, back I have a little bit of background talking to the VCs and venture capitalists in that space, right? And we brought up this point at one of the presentations we gave, and the hype around AI is like so high right now in the in the market of people investing and the people with money and the C-levels, even just the high ups. Like there's an actual conviction, I'd argue, that AI will replace the fundamental entry level, and the people actually living in those mid-range jobs or those fundamental jobs, like they don't agree with that. It's like a barrier, but it's a disconnect between what entry level actually is and what senior leadership and VCs think it is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I'll go back to the old what my grandpa used to say: "Shit or get off the pot time."
Yeah, heard
Right?
that one.
I mean, you need to figure out what you want to do with your life. Honestly, you really do. Um, the people who are going to get into cyber moving forward are going to be so damn hungry for it, and the talent is just going to shine. Like they just absorb things like nobody's business.
Did you say the best people in cyber, and this is just an arbitrary opinion, but best people in cyber are primarily self-taught?
I'm a little biased, but yeah, because
I
I
mean,
grew up in a time you had to self-teach yourself.
true.
You had to hack. You had to break stuff, right? And learn the pain. Back in my day, we had Windows on 31 disks. So when you broke your operating system, you're spending the next 5 hours just and put another disk in, and then watch and then eject it, put it there was real massive pain.
All I know is blowing my N64 console. that was the most troubleshooting I ever did in 2000.
But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a problem. But how much of a problem, I don't know. So, they were saying robots are going to completely automate the automotive industry back in, what was it, the 80s and 90s and stuff. And has it made a massive impact? Absolutely. Has it got rid of every job? Absolutely not. Because you still need people to do QA. You still need people to do other stress tests and, doing stuff. And it doesn't have, you may have 4 lines of robots that can slap on the windshield, do the welds, press the molds and stuff to build the car together. But you don't have robots to put all your dash and all of your instruments and all this. Granted, is it crap work? Yeah, but guess what? You could probably charge a premium or demand a premium because
100%.
There's ways around it. And again, as much as I hate to say it, and it's not sexy like cyber, you can go mow damn lawn for $150K a year. Seriously. And there's ways to make money and provide for your family.
100%. And those manufacturing jobs, I mean, we talk about the equipment. Yeah, you can get the automated welders and stuff and implement AI to it. I mean, the upfront cost to a big, heavy machinery that is capable of welding, it's not going to destroy the industry overnight. I don't even think it'll be that fast. The CapEx, companies, I mean, forgive me, they don't really invest into the factory line all the time. They don't really make those big investments to automate a new line. There's a lot of risk. It's new. It's an investment to map out. Obviously the biggest companies are, and that's why they're the biggest. They have a risk tolerance to do it. But the majority of SMBs out there, they're not buying that equipment
because they don't understand. And here's what a lot of
the initial,
the companies who have adopted AI 6 months ago and were laying off people, they're actually starting to hire people back because oh shit, this really isn't an automatic button. I can turn the AI on all of my email and it's just going to magically solve this stuff. It's not going to do it. Seriously, I've been open about it. I've got a Mac Studio sitting here, spent $14,000 on this stupid thing. Before, put the M3 Ultra chip in there because it had the ability to do the 512 gigs of RAM on this stupid thing. Using Grok and Claude to train the local Olama agent, building the skills, double checking, triple checking. We're damn near a month into it. Is there any automation to it? No. Does it really help me dig into some stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, it has to.
It does. Absolutely does. Right? Is it able to help me figure out some stuff pretty quickly, or at least point me in the right direction for forensics? Absolutely. Was it worth the $14K and how many months of all these subscriptions to train it? Probably not.
I don't know the answer to that one. You don't have the data yet.
Yeah, but I'm not even done yet. Is this going to be a 2-year venture? Maybe. I don't know. But people who think that you're just going to flip on a switch and AI is going to fix all of your problems like a magic Tylenol pill, you need your head examined.
That's one thing actually interesting. AI enables you to do more, right? I mean, I think it's the greatest idea creator in the world. Like I type in, I still use it more like, I don't know, general prompt. I'm not building anything or getting reoccurring tasks, which is the new trend. Like I'm not doing anything like that. It's just simply like, hey, even going back to the team trip I was talking about, I was like, hey, what's some good ideas for a large group of people in San Diego? Like that idea inspiration is great. We ran into a challenge, like I said, hired 8 people at once, was keeping organized. And given I don't have an engineering background or even a project management background, I was like, shit, I got to learn how to set up Jira. Like this is actually now a use case. So, I said, hey, check out Atlassian documentation. Give me just the MVP of what this needs to look like. And it kind of coached me through it. So it's great for ideas and sharing. But yeah, if you're getting to the point of like reoccurring tasks and all that, like that's a whole other game I'm not even into yet. Would love to, but not there yet.
It takes a while. Like,
yeah. And a lot of trust if it's actually doing things and taking actions. And obviously you did your local instance, but if you're letting just an open license of GPT to your OS is always pretty special to read online.
Dude, I'm wondering, I want to see the data that comes out for it, because I almost want to call BS. Like, how are you putting something in a sandbox and it breaks out?
You're not.
Unless it's in a vulnerable hypervisor, and we do hear about VM escape.
Yeah.
But unless this is a new exploit, or you haven't patched your shit, or it was improperly configured. Which 3, possibly all 3, are we talking about here?
I think Hugging Face, you're talking about the Hugging Face and the GPT. And yeah, I think they released a post-mortem or something. I haven't actually read up on it, but I just saw it the other day. I haven't actually read the post-mortem, but yeah, there is something there, and I'll be taking a look at it soon enough. Good stuff. We did it. We said AI a bunch.
Way more than I wanted to. I was hoping to get it done at the first 10 seconds or whatever and just move on.
It's too hard. Well, we can move on to a little bit of other stuff. I know we mentioned before, we both have a little bit of I guess I don't know how much of a presence you have, but Sentient has a presence working with CMMC shops and government contractors, and as a contractor ourselves. That CMMC pause kind of came out of nowhere. You think, how's that impacting? Were you surprised that the government kind of backed down? There it is. We can definitely, this is my last day. I'm going to San Diego tomorrow.
All right. So,
that's also funny. Entrepreneurs, we got our bottle very close to our desk. It's just how it goes. That's okay.
A lot of time. What the fuck? Let me take a swing of this before I deal with this person.
Yeah.
But yeah, in all seriousness, the everybody's like, CMMC is not dead. It's just pause. It's not dead. It's pause. Okay.
I mean, they have to say that, though. I mean, to be clear, why you have to say that, especially, I mean, Sentient positioned pretty heavily in the CMMC space, but all of the things we devved, all the things we did, it's agnostically helpful for all of our industries. Exactly. For the vendors who position for CMMC and like just CMMC, that's scary. That they went all in on something that just got paused. So
let's set the landscape here. Everybody's quoting DFARS. DFARS, you must control it. Guess what? That's been around for at least 10 damn years. Long before CMMC was ever created. People were doing self-assertion, saying that they were upholding 800-171. Yes, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm complying with DFARS. I'm to this framework. Trust me, we're doing the right job. And guess what happened? Companies were not doing what they said they were doing.
I've never heard of a company not doing that. That's crazy.
Fucking shocking.
There was a notice. There was probably a newsletter, Eric. What do you mean companies didn't do it?
This is why CMMC was created. You actually had to prove what you were doing. Now, when CMMC version 1 was created, it had more controls than the 800-171 had. What was it, like 13 or 14, somewhere around there, more than the standard NIST framework? I forget. Give me some grace on the exact number, chat, before you yell at me. And we were going down that path because I want to do forensics for municipalities. I want to do forensics for
Okay,
X,
so as
Y,
a
and Z.
contractor, you'd fall into level
Yeah,
2. Sure.
yeah. So I was going down the first path. And then they said, well, stop, hold on. Wait, hold up, wait a minute, but little
You're like a mixer on the
yeah,
live stream in the backstage.
yeah, no joke. So then they come out because everybody was complaining it was going to be too expensive to do this. Why? Because they weren't doing it in the first damn place.
There's no foundation
So-
at all to build from. If it's going to be
Yeah.
expensive, you're starting from zero.
Well, it was just adding on to an existing framework. They took 1-800-171, they
I
added
know,
to it.
but the actual businesses, did they really have any of 171 in place? Like, yeah, it's expensive if
Arguably-
you're starting literally from zero.
I've heard, and I don't have it, this is pure speculation, but I heard they were just doing enough to achieve around 20 to 30% of 800-171.
Yeah. So if you're now
As-
self-attesting to 20, 30%, and now you have to actually attest to 100% of something that's more than what it was before, that is expensive. So I feel it on that one for the SMBs, but also your fault.
Yeah. So they came out with CMMC version 2. They dialed back some of the security. Great, we're less secure. And we're going to implement this now. So we're like, all right, whatever. We're going back down CMMC path. And as of right now, I'm ready to submit paperwork. Like I'm ready for us to be tested and get my number.
C3PO and whatnot.
Yeah, doing the C3 API. And then they freaking pause it again. Now, I will say shout out to a good buddy of mine, Mike McLaughlin over at the Buchanan Law Firm. Dude, I trust a lot. And I have no reason to think that he's lying by any means. But what he stated in his LinkedIn, if this is true, this will change my perspective. He made the claim that there are not enough auditors right now to enforce and get airbag compliant. That's why the DOW put the pause to allow more time for auditors. That's not what they put out, though.
Yeah.
They wanted to know the impact on the SMB market, which, yes, it's going to be very impactful to conform to CMMC. But what everybody's going on LinkedIn, Reddit, YouTube, Back Scratcher, onlytrashhubs.com, whatever your platform is, they're all talking about it's just pause. It's just pause. Yes, you guys still comply with DFARS. Yes, nothing new, people. You're going back to self-attestation on DFARS, 800-171. You don't have to prove a damn thing anymore. And unless they're able to bring that back and get enough auditors to audit the people who are supposed to be, CMMC is effing dead.
Yep.
That's literally the only path you got. If we don't have enough auditors, and that's true. And again, I trust Mike. Like, I love the dude. Like,
I mean,
he's a
you're
smart,
on the
smart
street.
dude.
Like a lot of my C3PO friends, partners, like they are busy, but I do have a couple I can think of that do have availability because they don't even necessarily. They've been getting into situations where they go into an audit before they get their readiness, or they have some type of formal assessment with an RPO and whatnot, and they're almost wasting hours on doing audits that aren't ready. So not only is there, and I think there probably is a shortage, right? I mean, if we talk about supply chain, everybody in the country is probably needs level 2, right? So I talk about supply chain. I'm sure there's a shortage of auditors, but I also feel like companies think they can just go straight to an audit. Like they don't even want to go through the readiness. They want to go through the steps. They think an audit is going to give them their gaps, and it's causing a backlog to the auditors when the company should be going to an RPO in the first place.
I blame that on the auditors. Like, why are you not doing pre-questionnaires?
Yeah.
Right? Like, even if they don't review it, like, hey, have you performed your readiness yet? Great. Upload that PDF to me real quick.
Incorrect self-attestation. I mean, that goes to kind of the next point here. Like, is self-attestation actually more dangerous, right? Because they're attesting to the auditor, yeah, we're ready for this. And that self-attestation, if talking about level 1, that has an executive signature on it. Like now it's not like, tell us you're secure and have your audit. It's you literally signed that you are secure in doing this. The liability there, like I feel like self-attestation is more dangerous.
How? And everybody's talking, oh, that's the other thing that people were talking about. Oh, the whistleblower thing or whatever. I forget what the term was.
I don't know
HIPAA is
either.
supposed to be the most dangerous
Oh yeah.
freaking violation you ever did. What is the maximum penalty any practice ever does or fines? Fines up to 10% of revenue a year. Granted, there are some use cases where it is more for repeat offenders.
Yeah.
We'll give you that. But first, second, maybe third, you're only paying 10%. This is why when MSPs go to talk to hospitals of a single, 2 or 3 practitioner office and they mention HIPAA, they're laughed out of the office because literally they would rather pay the fucking fine.
Yeah.
Again, remember, this is unfiltered, non politically correct show. They would rather pay the freaking fine than to put a state of the art
Yep.
effing firewall in there and protect them and protect. Because literally, like, and we're not talking about hospitals. And I'm not trying to pick on a specific industry, but let's just say chiropractor.
Yeah.
How
of course.
much
That is
history do you
considered
need
HIPAA.
to
Yep.
see if you're doing an alignment? Granted, you may not be able to do your X-rays or something today because your machine is down, right?
Whatever.
But you can get it on the next one,
But I think
right?
the extremely important point you made is, at some point, it's all a balance of risk. That's what they talk about at the top table. What's the ROI? What's the risk? What's all that? Is like, okay, what's the risk of us having an audit and getting randomly chosen? Okay, 5%. Okay, and sure, 5%. What's the worst case scenario there? 10% of revenue. Okay, so 5%. And how much is it to input, process, hire people, get the software and hardware and everything in to be compliant with this? Well, that's going to cost 15% of revenue. All right, we're going to gamble. Like, why wouldn't
And
you?
I've heard report like well after like the engagement, because again, I talked to a lot of the breach coaches post incident because we'll meet up at conferences and stuff like that. I'm like, hey, whatever happened with XYZ? Like, how did the post-mortem and everything? Like, yeah, they didn't get fined because they were showing a little bit of due diligence in the beginning, and then at the 6th month, they were showing continued due diligence on ongoing. And they said, okay, you learned your lesson. You got a slap on your wrist, and they just move upon their day, right?
Yep.
And is there any follow up at year 2, year 3? No. So, is there going to be really any blowback from the quote unquote whistleblowers? And the one thing I want people to really understand and listen to me carefully. I feel like I'm a cheerleader.
That's what it looked like, dude. I don't want to comment on that.
There have been mentions of, oh, well, it'll come out in a forensic report.
Yeah, you're the one doing it. Like, does your forensic report really go out to the public that easily?
Not normally, and normally not without a lawyer's filter on it.
Yep.
Not saying anything bad about lawyers. I love lawyers. They help me out a lot. But what root cause analysis very rarely ever makes it to the public light. Ever.
Yep.
Like when we're retained by counsel, we don't talk to the auditors. We talk through the lawyers. We tell the lawyers everything. They figure out what to tell and not tell the auditors.
And I don't think there's really another way to it. I mean, that's just how America works. I guess going a little bit back to the CMMC and cybersecurity piece. So we talked about the self-attestment. That's probably what everyone's going to have to do for the foreseeable future. What's this pause? When's it over? Who knows? Yep. But let's say when the pause is over, one of the reasons that they pause, we already talked about, but the other one is it too expensive to even have all these cybersecurity pieces in place? So at what point does cybersecurity become so expensive? Can it actually weaken national security because fewer companies participate? Like, is there a risk there to the cost of cyber?
Yeah, that's something that we have not ever really addressed, that elephant in the room. Cybersecurity has to meet business operations, right? You can't put so much cybersecurity that business can't.
Has to meet business operations. Sorry, just saying it one more time for anyone watching.
For the back. You can't put so much cybersecurity that you bring business to a halt. I use Spas Sprockets from the Jetsons all the time. You cannot put so much in there that the sprocket is not going to be manufactured. They will freaking revolt. So Will it impact it? Yes. Where hypothetically a business will not be able to get a government contract because it is too expensive for them to undergo the process for the certification. Sorry. Zach, please talk to the audience. I'll be back in
You're
30
good.
seconds.
So the other piece there, kind of going is the other half, where if the contractor who maybe wouldn't have won the bid ends up winning it, and they don't have, because they have the cybersecurity pieces, but maybe the product or the piece they were delivering isn't exactly the best fit, but they had the security needs to meet the requirements. So anyway, that's just something interesting I wanted to get Eric's take on, because it really leads to, like, if you're a defense contractor today and the excess flow of money is not to the extreme, if you will, where you have the excess to invest into this, what would you do? Do you pivot? Do you anticipate the government never unpausing? Do you plan to come back stronger? So that's really the outcome here. And you're going to talk more about that cost piece.
Yeah, so I think the cost is going to be too astronomical for organizations to be able to obtain the CMMC. Again, we'll just call it 800-171, what it really is. I think if a business is smart, I just actually just thought about this, and I'm surprised I hadn't already. I really, really am. I really think this will drive acquisitions.
Ooh,
Either,
call out.
let's just say hypothetically, this Xbox controller, for instance. I make a new sleek one for the government so that it could control their drones. But it's too expensive for me to go through CMMC, create the patent, sell it off to a prime subprime with maybe the contract awardal. I'm not sure how that would be potentially transferred. But hey, we got the contract, we have the patents. We're honestly not allowed to do this. What if I sold the technology, the patent, and the award to you, Mr. Manufacturer, and it's on you now? That could be a play. I don't know. Now, granted, the manufacturer would have to be that, or I don't know. There's some things to go through, but I can see that being a viable business model.
I think it makes sense to me. I mean, if you already have the infrastructure, I mean, I have one friend who was basically a one-man MSP shop for a government contractor, and they acquired companies all the time. This was before the pause or anything, but his whole job was effectively just going into the new acquired company and getting them up to the level they needed. It was a one-man shop basically, so it wasn't as high of a level as it should be, but it was still a level, and they could afford to get them to a better point. And that's how they did acquisitions. It was a full-time role. Just, we're going to keep on buying companies and you're going to keep setting them up.
So this is a one-man organization doing the audit or the readiness and the implementation?
No, it is a government contractor, but it was a one-man IT shop, or one person in the IT shop. His full-time role was simply just handling the acquisitions and getting them up to par.
So I know it depends on the dynamics of the organization, but did he give you any insight how long it takes on an average for him to bring them up to speed?
Does that include or not include the process of asking for money?
Let's say not. You've already gone through the money. Your boots on the ground, if you will, or remote, or whatever the case is. Like, you have the green light to implement or start your assessment for implementation.
Everything, as always in this industry, is going to be dependent. But I would say, talking to him, reflecting on our conversations, it would sit anywhere from like 5 to 7 months usually, just to get everything to the point where it's all right, we can now, maybe it's self-attest. It's not, definitely was not level 2, even though that was the goal, but it was all of those foundational stuff to get operating. Deploy CrowdStrike, deploy all this stuff, get it set up, like all of those major cornerstones, if you will. And then I don't really know what happened after that. Talk about that time. Hopefully, businesses, I'm sure, operationalize it more than one person doing it, but still, that much time is insane.
Yeah, what TJ's saying here. And again, this is live, ladies and gentlemen. So if you have comments, let us know. But yeah, as TJ Hope says, it depends on how much budget you get. And absolutely right. So I mean, granted, outside of hardware procurement, you just have staff labor and you've got one person, so you already know what that fixed cost is going to be. Again, depends on the business, how many locations, do they have an MDF, multiple IDFs? There's a lot of stuff that you can go down that path. But I got frustrated because of CMMC. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to pick another framework, right?
I mean, you can do that, but if you're in the industry where you need that, or you need the write-off on that framework, it restricts you from making your own choices. You're at the helm of who's going to pay you.
So I checked out this, I think it's called CMMC of Awesomeness or whatever.
I haven't been to that website. That's a cool one.
So because I don't know everything about every framework by any means, right? So I started diving down that rabbit hole. And I'm like, we'll just do a different framework that doesn't really change, that should align with CMMC. So whenever they figure, what pair of pants they're going to wear today, they'll re-implement it and we'll get moving forward.
Is this a hot take that there might be a new acronym? CMMC's dead and it's going to be something else? Like it's going to have a new acronym, a new thing? Like, is that a potential here, you think?
Who knows?
We're just at the will.
Dumpster fire poop. But I was looking at even the ISO 27001, like one of the most stringent freaking frameworks out there. It's so out of line of even 800-171 to get you to CMMC. I'm like, what? It's like you have to stay. Like, there's not another one you can be like, you know what? We're more secure because we're doing this other framework.
Yeah.
The only one you can really do is like 800-53, and that's got a little bit less controls than the 171. But if you want to be down CMMC, like you know me, then you got to stick the 800 route. Like you can't buy into, adopt a more secure security framework and just tell them to kick rocks. You're exceeding their expectations.
Yeah.
And it was sad to see that.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone will pick up their security investment because of the pause. I feel like you're looking at half glass, half full, a little bit with that look. I mean, the outcome there of what you're saying, though, is worth emphasizing. Like, just because this is a pause, can't believe we've talked about this for so long, but it's obviously a hot topic and it's all over LinkedIn right now. Still is for the weeks it's been announced. But attackers at the end of the day with anything, they didn't hear pause. So there's no way that the investment should stop. I mean, that should be ultimately the takeaway. Just because there is a pause, doing the right thing or setting up in anticipation of an unpause or something change, like, you still got to realize the people doing the bad work are still working regardless of all the paperwork we say to do.
Yep. Blue team has to get it right every freaking time. Your security team, your IT team has to get it right every single damn time. The threat actor just has to get it right once, ladies and gentlemen. Right. And I know, unfortunately, while I know in the medium to larger businesses, they're not going to roll back a lot of security. They may do some acceptable risk type of things that are not aligned to CMMC just to get them through. I do see small business under 250 team members in the org potentially rolling back some stuff.
Or at least pausing their discovery and their investment into maybe vendors, additional hires, like at least a pause. I don't know about rollback. That'd be costly, but it could happen.
Well, even that, we talk about it all the time. Like Microsoft is always changing their stuff in 365.
Sure. I mean, always.
I'm going to wonder just the drift in controls. Let's just say this thing's paused till January, and everybody's just paused. Like we'll get to the end of this whatever project it is,
yep,
and we'll just pause until we seek advisement from the government.
Yep. And I'll echo that too, Eric. Like from a vendor side, like we do have some opportunities that are paused, and it has nothing to do with the Sention tech, has nothing to do with anything. It's just like, hey, we had a reason to buy it, and I think it's still there, but just want to hold off for a moment. And it's like, so you're right. Like it is definitely impacting vendors a little bit, but to the extent, but sorry, go on.
Yeah, I just worry about the drift control
So
because either you intentionally roll back something or Microsoft implements a change that unrolled something that you implemented or made it not as stringent as you implemented or whatever, the whole change management thing, that could have undue consequences because you're not using an app to monitor drift control. You don't have this DSC, desired state
this
configuration
desired state config.
for,
Yeah, I've heard
for
of people trying to set that up, and
that's
boy,
fun.
Sention
I
has oversold some people who've made a time commitment, and they kind of regret not finding us sooner. So there's my plug for Sention today.
mean, DSC is honestly, it isn't bad. Like we have DSC on ours,
Yeah,
but Barricade doesn't make a lot of changes, really. We're not adding a bunch of new external applications into, we're not, we literally stand up test tenants
yeah,
to do our stuff. So we don't fall into normal business operations, right? Like we don't want to test Dropbox integration in our thing. We'll stand up a dummy tenant and goof around over there for a minute, right? They'll give you an E5 for 30 days or whatever. And we can
of
have
course.
all the monkeying around we want in that test tenant and see how it does before we implement it into ours. So for us, at least, it's not that big of a deal. But a company that has a lot of changes, a lot of new team
Yeah.
members, high
Compliance
rollovers.
requirements to follow. I mean, even if
Yeah.
you did go the level 2 route, like DSC probably would become a little bit of a pain to get evidence and stuff. But at the end of the day, at the scale and what you're doing, it's like probably does work.
Yeah. For us, it works fine.
Yeah.
It does take time, just like the AI.
Yeah.
It does take a lot of time to figure because you got to know where it's. For those who don't know, it's an application that registers into your 365 and checks a JSON file against the parts of 365 from the Graph API. It says, does A match, does B match, does C match, so forth and so on that you have in your JSON file against what the output. If it doesn't match, change management kicks in, reverts it back. So it's only as good as you've configured your JSON configuration file. And it takes time to build that out and make sure all the configurations are right. And you got to keep up with the Microsoft Graph API. Sention's got a team that's doing that. You got to know all these things. You got to stay on top of it, right? So it's something to consider if you have the team to do it.
In-house talent.
By all means, please. May
Yep.
heaven be at your doorstep. It's a pain, but
as a vendor, I'm always there to advocate for the native solutions you're already paying for. And if you have the team of expertise and can do it, I mean, not saying not to give
maybe
it
that's what we scream about next month. Like,
yeah, we already got a topic.
The companies who will just buy the new shiny damn thing when their existing tools do most of it, just needs to be configured a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm down to do that. I mean, configurations and understanding all the pieces you got. And I mean, vendors gatekeeping a lot of their features a little bit, paywalls and stuff. Like sometimes it does make sense to stick with one. Sometimes it makes sense to expand. And I don't know. Yeah, we could dive into it.
I wonder if we can really push the MSP community to be under 4 agents deployed on an endpoint.
4 security agents.
Just 4 agents.
Just
4
agents?
applications. Just 4 applications total, max. Minimize it. You don't need 7 applications.
We can go into Stack next week or next month.
Nice shit on Sophos.
Only if you don't talk about their updates.
Oh, dude. Oh, I heard something the other day. So I had an MSP call me. So we do a fair amount of work with MSPs. This is going long. Hope nobody cares.
Oh, yeah. I'm good for a little bit, but we'll have to end it.
So apparently, what happened was MSP using a cloud-based Screen Connect server. Screen Connect or ConnectWise did something to the Screen Connect server, either a temporary migration or an upgrade or whatever, but the IP change behind the fully qualified domain name, it got updated. The IP was a known legacy C2 server from like 2 years ago. This happens from time to time. Sophos went nuts, started isolating things, just all kinds of stuff. And the poor MSP is still trying to get Sophos to respond. Their Sophos MDR.
Horrible.
It really is. Like, they told the MSP, oh, we don't see anything here. And I'm like, excuse me? There's isolation all throughout the land. Like, what are you talking about? There's nothing here. What are you doing here? Like, this is clearly one plus one is not equal 23 here. So, yeah. But
I do an episode just on vendor updates, just the good, the bad,
I really wish
the lack of.
Have you ever seen the amount of services that are installed with the Sophos endpoint?
I have not experienced the computer, but yeah.
They don't know how to roll packages in. It's like 8 fucking services. It's stupid. Stop it.
These are not
there's not even new acquisitions like Hitman Pro. Hold on, I'm gonna do Google. When did Sophos buy Hitman Pro?
I did assume most of this was acquisitions because that can be very hard to embed and make the acquisition company. So I definitely have some empathy for that, but that is interesting to hear just more services if it's homebrewed.
Okay, yeah. Sophos bought the company behind Hitman Pro, Surfright, in December 2025 or December 2015 for $31.8 million, according to Bleeping Computer. We're 11 years later, and it still runs as its own damn service. I will give you grace. You acquired a new company. You need time, 6 months, a year, maybe a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
After 2, I'm starting to think you don't have a dev team. Like, they're not just behind; they just don't fucking exist anymore.
Grow faster than your devs can keep up. I think that's probably a real fear we can dive into as well. Like, growth over devs. Like, where's the balance? You hear of RevOps becoming a whole job position. You hear devs being strapped. AI is going to replace all that. So let's do it next month, brother.
Absolutely. Again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. We do greatly appreciate it. Please, once again, tell us what you think about what we think. Drop it down in the comments, LinkedIn, outhouse.com, Twitter, whatever the platform is that you're enjoying this at. And we'll see y'all so last Thursday of every month, we'll do this, and we'll see y'all next month.
And if things go right, I'll be doing my call from Vegas. Later,
guys.